All right, hello everyone. My name is Ben Kelly, and I am the author of QR Here, Twinning Our Past, Present, and Future. This is a lesson plan intended for grades 7 to 12 use in public school or private school, of course, and even homeschool. And it's for Twinmotion, but it can also be used in Fortnite Creative and other things like Unreal Engine, as you'll see later with some of the adaptations. The goal of this lesson is for geography teachers, history teachers, science teachers, and even social studies teachers to allow students to use the power of Twinmotion to build an environment, a virtual environment, which is the first step in a digital twin. And we're going to build those environments or events from our past, present, and future, and then add them to a collaborative, either in-class map or, of course, an online global map that you can share with the world. The title of the lesson is QR Here, Twinning Our Past, Present, and Future. It's a play on words because most maps actually have the term "you are here" and they show you where you are on the map. Well, this is QR Here because eventually all of these cloud presentations will be turned into a QR code that can be shared locally or online. So I'm going to walk you through the lesson plan just so you can see what to expect. I'm not going to read the lesson plan to you, but I'm just going to walk through and give you some of my thoughts and some of my ideas along with the lesson plan. And I hope that you can use this in your subjects if you have access to Twinmotion or Fortnite Creative and so on. So there I am there, developed by Ben Kelly. My Twitter handle is BBTNB. And the overview of the lesson is exactly what I just said. So the first page greets us and it says, basically, students are going to research an environment. So that could be social studies, it could be geography. They're going to research a geography or a location, or they're going to research an event, a time in our past, current events, present, or even something that's coming our way in the future. And they're going to turn that research into a virtual location, the first step of a digital twin. So they'll learn all about digital twins here. They'll learn about the metaverse, what's coming, and how this type of thing will be huge moving forward. But basically, they're just making a virtual twin, throwing it up on the internet, turning it into a QR code, and then sharing that QR code locally in the classroom or on the global Padlet map, which will allow others from around the world to see your students' work. So here's the beautiful Hopewell Rocks. This is New Brunswick, Canada, where I'm from. So this is just an example here. We've basically created and rendered the Hopewell Rocks, which is pretty close to the original. And on the Padlet site, if you go to the Padlet site, you will see that we have uploaded this to the cloud, and Hopewell Rocks is proudly represented in Atlantic Canada. And the actual presentation, the actual cloud presentation, is there as well for you to explore, what you're looking at right here. I've got a bunch of contact info. Again, this is a 3 to 5 hour lesson, basically meant for grades 7 to 12, and this could be social studies, history, geography, and even science will creep in, and I'll show you how that works moving forward. Ideally, you would want to have a classroom with access to Twinmotion. This can be done in pairs, this can be done alone, and I think it's pretty straightforward. You need access to Twinmotion, probably 2022 or higher, and that should work very well with this project. So I've got some essential ideas here. The ideas range from, can a student research a place or time in history or in our, present and produce a virtual environment or a virtual location as the first step of a digital twin? Can they figure out what a digital twin is? Can they create a depiction or a prototype of a future time, a future city, future community? How can they use QR codes to share that with the world? And then finally, can their builds actually inspire further action beyond the classroom? We've got some learning outcomes here. They're going to learn real world, internet, and multimedia. So again, I just grabbed 5 very generic learning outcomes here that can apply to all of the courses I just named and multiple grade levels. So I do have really distinct standards coming up later in the lesson plan, but these are just generic 5, learning outcomes that can really apply to almost every course mentioned earlier. So the learning activities start here. This is just a brief, I'm not going to read this obviously for you, but this is just students are going to research a topic, either a geography or an event in history. Then they're going to head into Twinmotion, and after learning the basics of Twinmotion, while learning the basics of Twinmotion, they are going to bring that time or place or geography to life as a virtual location as the first step in creating a digital twin. Again, these lessons are great for the metaverse, the coming metaverse. These lessons are great for digital twinning in the future. In this lesson, they're going to use real-world internet. So there we go, multimedia research. Great. This is just what the students will be doing in this lesson. They're going to share their interactive 3D creations either locally or they're going to post them online. Okay, so the activities. So here's what we're going to do. They're going to learn about digital twins. So students will learn about digital twinning. Here's a YouTube video, great, and there's the actual definition of a digital twin and a simple example. So if they need that simplified. There's a Twinmotion sizzle reel, so that shows students first and foremost in their anticipatory set here what Twinmotion can do. There's an explanation of the metaverse. So again, digital twinning, metaverse, Twinmotion sizzle reel. This is just getting kids ready to rock in this project. There's a little part here I want to stress about safety. If kids are going out to really observe an area or really look at an area, perhaps near water or anywhere, I guess, away from the school, stress safety first. Every single time they wander to a place, or if they tell you they're going after school to look at a place so they can get a better idea of how it looks, make sure safety first. Even online, make sure that safety is first and foremost. So that's a little disclaimer there. Continuing with the activities, we've got a bunch of resources here. So we've got the Intro to Twinmotion course. I suggest they do this before they do this project, but the project is designed in such a way that they can figure Twinmotion out while doing the project. We've got a bunch of videos here that will support the students, like working with materials, vegetation, and lighting. So again, if you're building that geography, the vegetation, the lighting, and materials can really help. There's adding and citing Sketchfab assets, or just assets in general. There's a video here showing you how to add assets to the scene. Once your geography is sort of made. We've got capturing and rendering of your environments. So this is using the media tools and how to make panoramas and videos and all the things that will be later crunched into a cloud presentation. You need to capture the media first before it can go up into Twinmotion's cloud presentation. So they're going to be capturing some video clips here and some other cool things like presentations. And then finally, how do you get your experience up to the cloud? Once it's on the cloud, we need to remember that it's going to be a link. So once they get their videos or their presentations up into Twinmotion Cloud, it becomes a shareable link, which then can be turned into QR codes. So I have two links here for QR codes. Just in case the first one fails, I have the second one. And then of course, once you have that QR code, I have set up a global collaborative Padlet site. The password is there for you right there, and it allows you to add your QR code, or students, to add their QR code to the global map. And again, my dream here is that we'd have a whole bunch of different QR codes scattered all over this Padlet map that lead us to exact places on Earth and what they look like based on, or times, or events, and what they would have looked like at that location. Think of World War II, think of World War I. You can actually drop pins directly where battles happen, for instance, and your students can depict these battles in Twinmotion Cloud, and then we can go in and fly around and experience what the students wanted us to experience. We've got several external references. So again, Twinmotion, there's an external reference there. There's National Geographic. There's an article, Why We Need to Build More Virtual Worlds. So again, these are all bonus sort of materials here, Sketchfab, and they're just bonus materials. These are just things that can enhance the experience for your students and yourself. If you run into problems with students who can't do this project, let's say they're struggling with Twinmotion, or maybe you targeted a lower age level and you're just like, oh, why is this not working? There are several solutions here. I call them Universal Design for Learning solutions. But if you run into problems, or if you're looking for further ideas how to help those one or two students who just can't seem to make this project work for them, I've listed 7 possibilities here that could solve that for you. I also have an assessment rubric. It's out of 16 points, and it focuses on skills like the understanding of the time and place, the use of the Twinmotion software, creative and critical thinking, and of course the overall experience. It's out of 16, and the strongest criteria are on the left because that's how we read in life. We read left to right, and so you can see right here we have 4, 3, 2, 1. And if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a simple rubric that students can understand, I've included that here. I have gone out and scoured the world for the aligned standards, or the standards that could align to this, because I know many of you are linked to standards or love it when standards are included in the actual lesson plan. So we've got some Common Core State standards here. You can see they're all listed and basically they're stated in case you forget what the actual codes stand for. I've got the National Core Art Standard. So there's your art creeping in, because remember, this is 3D immersive design. So you have art standards creeping in there. I found the relevant potential next generation science standards. Again, you'll see in a second how science could apply, but I think you've already figured it out that when we start talking about our future, we're talking about science, like maybe it's Mars or the moon. Twinmotion can handle all of those environments and all of those builds. It's sort of outside the range of geography and history right now and more in the science spectrum. So the science standards are there. If we keep scrolling, I've added the ISTE student standards. Again, anyone involved in the ISTE community, the ISTE student standards are often a great guide for students. We have the National Council for Social Studies themes. So look at this. I have all the National Council themes, 1, 2, 3, all the way down. And then we have the historical thinking concepts, which is another massive social studies framework that we can work from. And so I've added some of these, like how this project specifically links to these historical thinking concepts. Not to be outdone, we've added 10 21st century skills as we move down here. So not only the skill, but how this project actually links to the skill. And then finally, here we are at the end of the lesson plan. It says twinning our past, present, and future. And you can see Mars here. This is my depiction of Mars. But again, we can start talking about what's coming up in our lives, not just what happened and what is happening, but what's coming up. And students can build that. You can see this. This took me less than an hour to assemble here, frame. So that is, the Cybertruck sitting on Mars. So it just shows you what Twinmotion's capabilities are. It's endless. It's infinite. So if you can think it, you can build it, and that's Twinmotion. At the bottom here, I'm begging for sharing. I know the idea of slapping these QR codes up on a wall in the classroom on a map is great because you keep it local, but sharing is caring. So if you really find a student has done an exceptional job in depicting a time and place or an event throughout our history, our present, or even what's coming in our future, feel free to join that Padlet, get into that Padlet, let them figure it out. Let them generate their QR code, let the students upload it to the Padlet after finding the exact location on Earth, and hopefully we can grow that Padlet resource to be something incredible. So this is the lesson that I created for Twinmotion. It is QR here, again, a play on words for you are here, which we see on most maps, and it is twinning. It's the beginning of digital twinning and the metaverse, and it's twinning our past, present, and our future using Twinmotion or other supportive software like Fortnite Creative. And I hope you can really find a place for this in your classroom, in your science class, in your social studies, geography, history, art. There's so many classes, even literacy. You can bring a book to life. If students read a book or a piece of writing, they can bring that to life and build the actual environment for that. And by all means, slap that in there, because even if it's not a real world environment in any shape or form, fantasy, for instance, we would love to see it added based on the location on Earth where you think it could have taken place or where it did take place.